Hello everybody and welcome to BA 231. In this class we are going to go over the basics of accounting and go all the way up to preparing financial statements. If you don't have any experience with accounting, that's fine. We start off really basic. It does build fairly quickly, but the exercises or the homework problems that we have picked do a really good job to build off of everything that you're going to learn. So I think that you'll find them really useful as long as you can keep up on the homework. I think that you'll really like it. And you'll be able to learn a lot while you're going through this class. So I just want to introduce myself. My name is Cody Quast, and I will be teaching this. I've probably had a few of you in my classes before, so it's good to see you again if you are in this class with me. I want to start off by just going over Canvas a little bit in case somebody is new to it. If you've had it before, this will be a refresher, and maybe you can pick up on a couple of things. So you'll see this is the instructor view, but you'll have a few things that'll be similar to yours. If you go to your home page right here, you'll see that there's a ton of student resources here for you. Talks about the Canvas app, the late policy, all of those different things. APA templates, this one we won't have any APA writing, but you will use that in a lot of other courses, and that's kind of standard. Then down here, you're going to have Eaglegate Cafe. I've posted an introduction about myself there. I won't take a bunch of time in the lecture to go into who I am and what I do, but go in there and read it. That tells you a little bit about me and what I do. And then I also encourage you to also post your own intro into there. It doesn't have to be as long as mine, but say something about yourself, who you are, what you do, maybe a couple of hobbies or something. It's a good way for us to build a classroom setting even though we're online. It'll kind of introduce us to each other. There's also a link right below that for questions to the instructor. If you have a question on there, feel free to post it. When you post it on here, though, it is posted for everybody to see. If you post a question on there, and as another student, if you go in and look at it and say, hey, I think I know the answer to that, and you would like to chime in, that's fine. I want to have a good classroom discussion, so please feel free to do that. However, if you have a question for me that you don't want to ask in front of everybody, this is not the place to do that. Please feel free to give me a call. My contact information, I will show you that here in a minute. But feel free to give me a call or email. I have a job during the day as an auditor, so I generally get back to people at night. But feel free to reach out to me any way that you want. So let's go to the announcements tab. We'll come back to the home one here in a minute. On the announcements, this is where I'm going to post kind of a summary of what's due for the week. Right here, you will see that there is already the week 1 announcement. This will grow as we go along. And then you're also going to have the welcome email here, and then you're going to have the contact information. It'll have my email address and my phone number. You can go down to the syllabus here. The syllabus is going to show, again, my contact information, the book, kind of a rundown of what is expected. And then you will have your discussions link here. So your discussions, you'll be spending a lot of time in this one. So every week we're going to have a discussion that is due. So right here is the week 1 discussion. Let's click on this. So in here it talks about income statements and balance sheets, which you're going to read a lot about this week. And you're going to talk about which one you feel would best represent the company's financial situations. You need to pick one of them to tell how the company is doing and then defend your position. They are both very valuable. I personally would have one that I would probably lean over, that I would pick over the other one just because of my career and the things that I do, but they both have tons of valuable information on there. So there's not really a right or wrong answer on there. Just pick one and give your logic. The only wrong answer, I should say, is to not do it and not to support your decision. I don't want to just have somebody say, I like the income statement because it shows if you made money or not. Well, yes, that's true. It's going to show that, but there's a lot that goes into that final number. Same with the balance sheet. Don't just say, well, I like the balance sheet because it shows that I have a bunch of cash on hand. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. You could have your debts that far outweigh your assets. So give your logic behind it. That's basically what I'm looking for. With your discussions, if you're not familiar with those, they are due by the middle of the week, every week, and they need to be between 70 and 100 words, that says right here. And then by the end of the week, you need to respond to 2 other discussion questions, to 2 other discussion posts from other students. You can respond to mine, you can respond to another student's, it doesn't matter. But they need to have something substantial to them. In here, as it says, short posts that say things such as, wow, that's a great post, or I agree, are not enough. We kind of have a rule of thumb, try to make it at least 30 words or a few sentences. And if you want to take a position that's contrary to another student, that's fine. Let's have an open discussion. That's what this is for. Just be respectful, please. Don't go out there and say, man, I can't believe you think this or anything like that. Say, you know, I can see where you're coming from, but here are my thoughts on this. What do you think? You know, let's get a discussion going. That makes it a lot more fun for everybody, and we can all learn something from that. So let's go back up here to the home page. So on our home page here, you can scroll down and there's going to be module 1, module 2, as you can see. Module 1 is essentially week 1. So right here, you're going to have your checklists and objectives, lectures and readings. This is your discussion question, your lecture response. So after you watch this lecture, you need to post your response to it by week 1. That's done through the grades. You'll see that this adds up quick. Be sure to respond to this. In here, it's going to talk about what is due. Don't just again say I like the video or something like that. You need to give us something that you learned. So it says in here that it needs to be 150 words. I'm not going to count and say, oh, you only had 148, but try to make it at least around 150 words or so, or a half a page, whatever it is, and talk about something that you learned while you were watching this. And again, that is due by midweek every week. If you turn it in after that, as long as it's in before the end of the week, that's fine. It's just docked. And if any homework that is turned in late, no matter what it is docked 20%. So your discussion question, your initial post is due midweek, and your response to the lecture is due midweek. Your 2 responses are due by the end of the week. So let's go back and dig into the homework a little bit here. You'll see module 1 assignment. So let's click on this. This is what I want to get into to show you a couple things. So you can see that you have 3 assignments that are due this week, 2.1a in chapter 2, at 3.3a, and 3.4a in chapter 3. Accounting, when you're first trying to get a hold of it or getting an understanding of it, can be a little crazy sometimes because there's debits and credits. But once you've done them a few times, you're gonna be like, oh man, this isn't too bad at all. It's just your left side has to equal your right side. So let's dig into that. And to help make that a little bit easier, I have gone through and created some templates for you, which I think will hopefully make the class a lot more enjoyable for you. So you click on that link just like I did, and it's going to download them. You can download them and then save them and then upload them. So we're going to click Enable Editing on this. So here's problem 2.1a, and this is on page 44 in your textbook if you want to turn there and follow along. So what we have to do in 2.1a is we need to analyze the effects of transactions on the accounting equation. So your accounting equation is right here in row 5, where it says assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. Just remember that equal sign. That is key. So your left side right here has to equal your right side. So, you know, there's kind of the yin to yang. There's always a reaction to something else. So let's look at transaction number 1 here. So it says transaction number 1, and we're looking at this from the business perspective. So this is a guy, it says Guy Fernandez established Fernandez Home Appraisal Services, and he is first setting it up. So we are going to help him set up his books essentially. So transaction 1 says the owner invested $97,000 in cash to begin his business. So as you're reading through the chapters, you're going to see some terms you'll get familiar with. But so the owner put $97,000 into his company. So his cash is going to go up by $97,000 because he put that money in there. But his equity in the company is also going to go up by $97,000. So you'll see his capital went up by $97,000. The left side equals the right side. You're going to go through and you're going to do that for all 11 transactions. Now, I don't want you to get confused and think, well, if I have one on the left, I have to have one on the right. That's not necessarily the case. Let me show you down here on number 10. So number 10, it says you paid $6,460 in cash and supplies. So you went out and you bought $6,460 in computers, pencils, paper, all of that different stuff. So now your supply closet is full. You have an asset of $6,460. Your accounting equation is off because you only have one entry. So you've got to do your entry, another entry. Accounting has something called double entry accounting. So what did you do? You paid for that. So you're going to have an entry here that'll say negative $6,460 because your cash went down by $6,460. So this plus this equals 0. It's going to equal out. And when you get down here to the bottom, you're going to summarize everything. Your total owner's equity should equal $128,500. Your cash, you can see I gave you a hint on this one. It might be blank, but since you're watching this video, I'll show you. The ending cash balance is $87,690. So this column should add up to $87,690 when you get done. So just make sure you go through, do all of those entries. Let's turn to 3.3a. So 3.3a is going to be similar. We're actually going to be digging into something called T accounts. And this is on page 79, I believe. Let me turn there. So on 79, you'll see 3.3a. So you're going to use T accounts to record transactions involving revenues and expenses. So I've given you a couple of examples here. And again, this one's kind of similar. So right here, I've even given you how the T accounts are set up to help you. I've given you the titles, everything. So I really want it to be fairly basic for your first week to make sure that you're grasping this. So week 1, office supplies. Right here it says transaction 1, you purchased office supplies for $3,000 in cash. So your office supplies go up, and then your cash goes down. So you have your 2 corresponding transactions. You're going to go through and do this back and forth. If you look on number 7 here, I've also helped you. It says paid a telephone bill of $580. So your expenses, you got your telephone bill, it comes in, your expenses go up. Then you're also going to have your other transactions. So in here, you would have a negative $580. The cash goes down. Oh, and I even have the negative sign in there for you. So now those balance. And then at the end, you have to say how much cash was spent in June. All of your cash transactions should add up to $17,780. So that one will be just kind of building. So it's going to be similar to 2.1a, except now you're actually putting it in the T accounts instead of just on one line. So when you see these T accounts, a company doesn't just go out there and create a new T account for every transaction. They might have one T account behind the scenes, in their programs, their accounting system software that they use that are just massive. That's where 3.4a comes in. So you can see, if you go back to 3.3a, cash, cash here. So all of these, there's all these T accounts for cash. In the real world, there's only one cash T account, essentially. So all of your transactions are going to go, that involve cash, are going to go in here. If it's accounts receivable, it's going to go here. Office equipment, so you want to combine all of those, and so on. You'll see as we go down, they're all there. So I've given you some examples here. So let's look at 3.4a, which is on page 80. So 3.4a, again, you're going to use your T accounts to record all of your business transactions. So transaction 1, it says Brock invested $160,000 to the company. So cash goes up. The company now has $160,000 on account. You're going to go down here. You're going to see Horace Brock's capital. His capital goes up by $160,000. Let's look at F. So on F here, let's see. F says you performed services of $14,000 on credit. On credit means you've done the work, but you have not been paid. So do you think that that's going to affect cash? No, because you have not been paid. So remember, there's key terms like that. So you're going to have your cash here, your accounts receivable that I'm hovering over right here of $14,000. So your accounts receivable went up by that. So then you are going to have your corresponding transaction that goes with that, and you're going to have to go through and you're going to find that. You're going to go down here to fees income. So your income, you have $14,000 in income, so your income goes up. Your income is on the other side of the accounting equation, so it goes right here. So as you go through, I've given you several hints. They're all highlighted in yellow to make them stand out and be easier. You should always have a balance at the end. So I've given you what your cash ending balance should be. Here's a transaction for S. I've given you the balance here for fees, income. These all should add up. And then your analyze question, at the end of this one, there is a question. And it says, what are the liabilities after all of the transactions? The liabilities are $47,900. So that is what is due for week 1. You'll have your discussion, which you essentially have to post 2-3 times, your reading, and then you also have your homework that you have to do, and then your discussions, your lectures, and your homework. Sorry. You need to get all of that done and have that all done by the end of the week. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, I think you're going to really enjoy this class. Good luck, and let me know what questions you have.